Hi everybody. So I said I was gonna do a live today, to talk about this full moon, talk about some rituals that we can do for this full moon, what this full moon means, and give some suggestions on what one can do. Hi Liliana. And yeah, this is something that has really supported me in the past few months, these types of rituals. And so I wanted to share with everybody so that perhaps you can find some solace in this process as well for yourself. Particularly, let's talk about this full moon. So this full moon is going to be in Virgo, and it's called a supermoon. So it's one of 3 supermoons for this year. Supermoons is when the lunar is very, very close to Earth. Hey, Maria! Love you, sister. And so the full moon is the peak of the lunar cycle, and it represents completions, culminations, things coming into light, and a place, a starting point to manifest something. And also it's a time to release and even enjoy things that you have, going on in your life. Virgo is known as the Virgin Goddess. So she's inviting us to raise our standards on how we speak to ourselves, how we are with ourselves, and how we are unto others. This includes how we, the language that we use when speaking about ourselves, the language that we use when, internally, verbally speaking about ourselves, our internal dialogue, and then that even all translates into energetic vibrations. And that vibration is what we get to focus on for this full moon, and to take a look at how it is that we are speaking to ourselves verbally and energetically speaking. Another thing that's interesting about this full moon is that 7 of the 10 planets are in earth signs. So this is a time about being guided to connect to Mother Earth, connecting to nature. This can be a time to connect with the natural rhythms of the earth and ourself. And this is also a time to connect with the simple divine truths. So nature, for me, provides a lot of simple truths, and it's like an extension of myself. So when I look at nature, I'm able to see how I am resonating in my life, some lessons I get to learn. I love you, Liliana. Hi, Lucy. And, really take a look at how I am being with myself, and how that is manifesting in nature in front of me. So particularly with this full moon, since 7 of the 10 planets are in earth signs, there's a strong, strong, strong call to connect with nature, in my opinion. The word virgin often is misconstrued. A lot of people have it, like, obviously the absence of sexual intercourse and not have done that before. But really, back in the day, a virgin was defined as a woman unto herself. So a woman that is in her full independence and sovereignty, which is very, very different than how we have it defined in our society now. And I think that definition, to see it from that way, from a place of independence and sovereignty, is very supportive with this full moon. So we get to look at, it's not just like taking a look at our sexual intercourse or whatever, our sexuality, but really taking a look at what do we get to be independentized from? Where do we get to find sovereignty in our life? And what areas? Right now, this full moon, we're being supported to look at things to bring into alignment, to get things together for our life. So the full moon is perfect to help us raise our standards and raise our energy, so that we don't come down to the lower vibrational energy that exists on the planet, but we get to raise our standards to meet the higher vibration, and use this full moon to take a look at the things that are stopping us from doing that. They're like seeds. So I'm going to post an article about how the Native Americans view this full moon. They call it the Crow full moon, and it's going to have a whole little thing about it. And I found that really important, because they also view this time as the seeds that we're dormant in the winter and they're beginning to sprout coming into the spring, right? So again, taking a look at what do we get to work on? What do we get to focus on? What do we get to release? What areas of our life do we get to embrace through this full moon? Another thing that I wanted to mention with this full moon for me, if anybody is open to working with or newly open to working with Archangel Ariel, he's known as the Lion of God. So he's the angel of earth and water, which is so perfect since this full moon has so much earth energy. And he's a wonderful teacher to help you learn the skills of manifestation. So during this full moon, if you feel called to, if you're open to it, it's a good time to call upon Archangel Ariel for assistance and ask him to work with you during this time. Let me see what Liliana said. Oh, she says, you have a thing about definitions. Makes sense being a Libra. You're a communicator. But I can't help notice that you have a knack for pointing out how perception is different from reality. It is. I mean, it is and it isn't, right? Your perception creates your reality, right? So whatever you're perceiving is what's going to show up in front of you. So thank you for that reminder, Liliana. It's so important. Especially in this time when you're focusing on, releasing and embracing the different aspects of you. And these aspects can be the shadow sides of you, right? These can be the aspects that we'll call, quote unquote, the dark sides of you. And they're not to be scared of. They're not to be for you to run away from them. It's to be embraced because even the shadow sides of you serve purpose in your life. And so this is a time to set yourself free. So I have some questions that maybe you can consider and take a look at while you're doing this work with the full moon tonight and tomorrow. The full moon is tonight and going into tomorrow, the 9th and the 10th. And how I like to do it is I like to get a sheet of paper and a pen or pencil, whatever is something to write with, and write the questions out and just give myself some time to freely write without judgment, without anxiety, just freely write some of the things that I would like to let go. So the first thing I like to make a list of the things that are holding me back from my freedom, particularly this full moon. So again, making a list of the things that are holding you back from your freedom, and also writing things that you intend to release during this cycle, and be intentional about it. Allow yourself to freely come up to it, but be intentional about what it is that you're choosing to let go during this time. And also another area that I like to communicate with the full moon is asking the full moon to reveal what is in the dark for me. So what is it do I get to see that I can't see right now? That I get to release, that I get to embrace about my shadow self. And then the last question I like putting up is, what are the next steps after I discover these revelations? All right? And just being with those questions. So a little ritual that I like to do is writing down the things that I want to let go of, release, and being and setting the attention for the full moon. And then if you can safely, in a safe way, please, in a safe way as possible, is I like to take a lighter, or someone asked, are we lighting candles for it? I do. I certainly light a candle. It depends on what type of energy I'm trying to release, and I might light a certain color of candle to match that intention. I can make a post about some different colors and what they mean later on. But for right now, a white candle or any candle will suffice, right? Because I firmly believe that it's the intention behind any spiritual work that makes something work, that makes something flourish, that brings it and makes it pop. So I light a candle with the paper that I write down all the things that I want to release in a safe way. So I usually do this outside, and I get some type of pot, so it's heat resistant. I light the piece of paper that has all the things I want to release, and really set the intention with the paper as it's burning to release all of those things that are holding me back, that are stopping me in my life, to release it into the universe. Right? So then once they turn into ash, it's like poof, they're gone into the universe, and they're no longer, I mentally try to envision that those ways of beings or those things that I want to release are no longer in my space. Please, though, please be careful and be safe about it when you do it. I also like, because there's so much releasing being involved during this time, I like to cleanse my area and cleanse my space and cleanse myself. And that could look in many different ways. I burn candles with intention. I burn incense sometimes when I'm doing this type of ritual. Sage, Palo Santo, or whatever you use in your spiritual practice to help you cleanse an area and clear your space. And I firmly believe in doing what intuitively feels right for us. So it could be all of those things. It could be none of those things. It could be one of those things. Whatever you feel called to do. And because there's so much energy in the earth, in the earth signs, there's some things I want to recommend that you can try on. Certainly they're not required, but they help me kind of align myself to the energy so I can get my own self clean, whether it's physically, spiritually, and mentally. So one thing, I'm a vegetarian, but particularly during this time, I will make sure to eat very clean. So I suggest, since we have so much energy in the earth signs, that I like to eat a plant-based diet today, tomorrow, or whatever you feel called to do. So that's a suggestion. I also suggest making a flower essence or purchasing some type of flower essence and mixing it with water and setting the intention in the water and drinking that various times throughout the day. Flower essence provides a lot of beautiful things that can flourish from it. And different flowers and different plants have different intentions and different healing properties. So you can do research and find out which flower essence pertains to what you're working on, and find the flower essence that supports you on that journey. Another thing I like to do, especially during this time, we're going into spring, right? So it's not called spring cleaning for no reason. So, do some spring cleaning. Marie Kondo, I don't know if you're familiar, if anybody's familiar with it, but she has a series on Netflix, and I know she has a book. I believe it's called The Life of Tidying Up or something like that. Her name is Marie Kondo. And she talks a lot about, feeling the energy of an item. And if it doesn't spark joy in you, to release it. If it's not something that you've used in, I forgot the exact time frame that she recommends, but like, let's say in a year. If it's not a shirt that you've used in a year, you might want to part ways with it. And really cleaning your space and getting rid of clutter. And that can look not only with your clothes, it can look with deleting emails, cleaning your mail drawer, organizing a room, organizing your bookshelf. It looks in so many different ways. Another thing that I definitely suggest during this time when you're releasing, give yourself some self-love. Come up with a really good self-care routine to nurture you in this time, because releasing stuff isn't easy. And sometimes taking a look at those things isn't easy. And it can be trying. It can be heavy. So I definitely suggest, coming up with a routine for yourself or some kind of self-care plan, whether it's calling a friend and having a friend or a family member that you can trust and discussing these things that are coming up for you that may seem dark or scary to release. Getting a massage, getting a facial, getting Reiki, getting a lymphatic drainage massage, getting a pedicure and a manicure, going out into nature and connecting with nature. That's really big for me. It's a really part of my practice that supports me a lot. Just sitting down with trees and just connecting with trees, putting my back against a tree, asking for it to uplift me, to hold me up, to act as a spine for me. Nature can take it. Mother Earth can take it. Giving your energy onto Mother Earth and asking for it to be transmuted into the universe as love and light. Let's see, if anybody has any other suggestions, feel free to post the comments on this video. And, just really take care of yourself during this time, and be willing to be open to the way the universe responds to your intention, and see what comes up for you during this time between now and the new moon, and journaling about it, right? Taking note of it, keeping history, for lack of a better term, for yourself, and making note of the different things that you're noticing about yourself, the different things that you want to release, the different things that are coming up for you when you're in the process of releasing this stuff. And that's really all I have. Oh, the other thing I have as well, I forgot to mention, is I have a suggestion. If you're into tarot cards and you use tarot cards or oracle cards in your practice, I have a 3-card tarot spread that I like to use during the full moon, and it's a 3-card spread, and it's for 3 different questions. The first question is for illumination, and it's what can no longer be hidden during this time. The second question is for release, and it's what can I let go of? And the third question is about transformation and what is getting ready to emerge during this time. If you don't have access to tarot cards, anything like that, I'm offering a 3-card spread for $9.99. And if you can't afford that, we can come up with something else that you can afford. I'm open to any type of donation. And that's really all I have. I look forward to hearing your experience with this full moon. I look to hearing what comes up for you. Please, please, please share your thoughts with me on what's emerging out of you, what you're releasing during this full moon, as I will do the same. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. And also, if you aren't following me on my new Instagram page, it's deeply_rooted inspirations. Please follow me on there. I'll be posting a lot more of these types of things on that Instagram, and leaving trying to transfer that onto that Instagram so that my personal Instagram is not completely flooded with these types of posts that some people are not interested in reading about. So happy Virgo super full moon, and I look to hearing from all of you and letting me know your experience, and I hope that this ritual helps you guys. Okay, have a good day. Bye.